Obviously, I'm a Yankees fan, so I'd love to see him.
It's almost like legacy of like the NFL versus.
But I definitely think that Baker could be a really good player for the Panthers moving forward.
Did I say Oreos?
There's a lot of questions I have about Mahomes. Looks like a kid playing Madden.
Turning point in the game is the 13-second drive.
They play very hard, even though they're terrible.
He's a good pick. You for sure. He's going to be a good player. But I can't argue against the Jamar Chase pick.
They made moves saying we're going to win this year, at least get into the playoffs.
I'm going with my guy, Corey Seager. So glad.
What's good, y'all? My name is Austin Drummond, and I play rugby for the University of Notre Dame. And you're listening to The Outsider's Opinion with Austin and Kevin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. I'm Kevin, and I am joined by the man that I know you brought him up before. Does the All-Star game help a team? More ways than one. The Red Sox are on a tear, as you were talking about, Austin, as I'm stealing your points. But does it help or hurt? I think what I see from the All-Star break is it just gives players times to rest up. Kind of thinking from the Rangers' perspective, it just gives time for Jacob deGrom, Nathan Eovaldi to rest. Because you're always worried about Jacob deGrom and just his health.
Well, I think that's true with Eovaldi, too, because he missed a month of the season. So he's already been hurt this year. Now, do you think it changes your mind? Like, if you're the Red Sox, right? They have the hardest. Now, we can ignore the fact that they have the hardest strength schedule the rest of the year, because that's not about the All-Star break. But do you think going 10-0 into the All-Star break helps you maintain that momentum afterwards, or do you think it kind of lessens it because you're not playing every day, and so you can your swing gets a little bit off and this and that, you may start a little bit slower, or do you think it is helpful to teams that are on a very hot stretch going into the break?
It's a tough question because, like, I do think it is helpful because you ride off that momentum of like, wow, we really ended well on the first half, and the only reason I could see him falling is kind of because of a break, but maybe they just stay up to it and they're ready. They're seeing pitches the same way.
So you think if you'd say it helps?
Yes, I'll say it helps. Just kind of that vibe in the locker room. You go off on a high note and then you get this rest, because that is a key thing to me about the All-Star break. So even if you're not in rhythm, you're just, I would say, you're feeling fresh. And you have that mental attitude of, we were already on a great start and now I'm even better because I'm fresh. I'm not as tired.
Okay, now in the inverse, let's say you're 0-10 going into the All-Star break. Do you think that helps or hurts?
So I think I'm going to cheat because I do think it helps both cases.
Okay, explain.
Because I think, to me, you're getting the break and you can look at it in different outlooks. You can have the same outlook but in different terms, because you get a break and you're doing really well. Like, okay, I can keep it going. But if you look at the Astros, and are Yankees, how bad was their record? Are they 0-10? Or is that just hypothetical?
0-10, no, but they were definitely. I mean, let me go into.
The Astros lost 4 out of 5 games.
Or like the Rays.
Yeah.
The Rays are currently. They were in a playoff spot. Now they're 1.5 games out of a playoff spot, but they're 2-8 in their last 10 before the All-Star break.
So I can see the break as helping. Of, okay, that's first half of the season. We're just going to leave that behind. Fresh start. So I do think it's helpful from that mental side. But I don't see it helping in seeing pitches differently.
I agree that it helps if you're on. I can see how it helps both sides, but I feel like in both ways it could hurt, because if you're playing bad, I feel like sometimes for example, if you're on a bad hitting stretch, let's say you're 0-20, playing every day, I think helps you get out of it, even if you go 0-27 and then you get a hit, instead of waiting, because now 0-27, if you still go 0-27, there's a longer period of time, so you're still thinking about it and it affects you more and more and more. For being on a losing stretch, I don't think the All-Star break really can help you if you continue to think about it. So if you're still affected mentally by the fact like, man, we can't win a game, and like the clubhouse gets down and you kind of feel it, and the coaching staff is not really pumping anybody up, and it's kind of a mellow feeling in the locker room in the clubhouse, it can kind of be towards the negative side because you make it seem like you can't do anything about it because it's the All-Star break, and you can't, but you need to prepare for the games that are afterwards. Now I can see how it could be helpful because now, hey guys, blank slate. We don't care about that record preseason or record pre the All-Star break doesn't matter. We're post All-Star break now. It's a whole new season, second half of the year. I can see that, but I think that it really depends on the morale of the team and also how mentally tough they can be because, I mean, knowing that you've, let's say, lost your last 5 games before the All-Star break and then having to wait basically half a week or 5 days and not play, I mean, it could be difficult to come back from that. And then on the winning side, I could see it slowing you down, but I think it's more helpful for the winning side because you can't lose a game while you're on the All-Star break, so you stay of good morale for longer. Right, those days you're like, we've won 10 straight, for example. I know the Red Sox lost this week earlier today, but just in the like they won 10 straight, and that morale's going to stay up because when you come back, you're like, well, we still won 10 straight, right? We can do this. We're fine. Every other team went through the same break we did. We got this. I could see it being a negative if you get too confident or if you lose sight of what is, like if you're on that break for too long and you're like, well, we can't lose, right? That's not a good mindset. But I think that it's more hurt. I think it is, whatever your mindset is, I think the All-Star break emphasizes that. So if you go in with the wrong mentality either way, I think it'll increase that whenever you come out. It'll make it worse one way or the other. Or if you go in with the right mentality, it'll make it a lot better when you come out because that break helps you reset, whether you go on a good stretch or not.
Yeah, I want to kind of, you were talking about it's harder for someone that's owned 27. I feel the break is even better for those guys because I view it, baseball is just such a tough game mentally that players can get into their own head of, I need to change so much about my swing, when instead they just have to keep doing what they're doing to get it. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
But I think kind of with hitting especially, that whenever you are going through a bad stretch and you have a day off, like say the coach takes you out for a day, I don't think that really helps them because getting reps is what you need. Going through it, getting it through the mud, quote unquote, getting it through just everyday hitting still, I think is more helpful because at least you're seeing the ball. Because, okay, you're seeing the ball and you don't want to lose your swing because you can become so unconfident about, man, I haven't got a hit in so long that you lose what got you there in the first place, what got you a good batting average in the first place. Now, I see what you're saying because it allows you to kind of reset mentally, but that's only if you choose to do that. And I could definitely see a world where some players, it's hard to do because baseball, like you said, it is a very mental game.
Yeah, and I understand your point of them just seeing it and finally getting that. But with the Rangers, it worked somewhat. There's a good and bad case because they're a team that just struggled hitting. Adolis Garcia was a guy that struggled. They gave him a few days off. He finally got back up, but they did the same thing for Josh Young, and that didn't work. And he got sent down.
It really does.
Yeah, it really does. But I do agree. It emphasizes whatever mentality you take into it. But I just feel players are going to do it. They're going to go into it positively no matter what, of like, okay, I can finally put that behind, or okay, that was a great way to end it. I can keep going. So that concludes our video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.